coming up on the Game Plan. Your Commanders are out here in the desert. Me and head coach Dan Quinn catch up for an interview out in sunny Arizona. Then back in Ashburn, Logan is holding it down in the film room to talk about how we can get a win over the Arizona Cardinals. Then at the end of the show, our Command Center crew talks about keys to a victory, how we can bring that W home. All that and more starts on the Game Plan. Welcoming Coach to the Game Plan. Coach, first things first, congratulations on a huge primetime win.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Really fun.
The fans were there. They showed up. There was so much burgundy and gold out there. And it just looked like such an exciting time. Just paint that atmosphere for us and how much fun you had out there.
Yeah, we had an absolute blast. We knew going into it, there were certain markers that we'd have to do to go win. And the best part about games like that, where maybe outside voices would say, no, this isn't going to happen. But the people inside that building all week in the preparation to get ready for that go time, they had the belief, and that's the most important thing. So it was really good, man, to have some of our fans there on the road in that kind of environment. It was an absolute blast. The locker room was lit up for sure.
Is that outside noise a little extra motivation for you that you mentioned?
I wouldn't say it's motivation, but there is something when you get to go prove it. You know, when people think you can't do something and you get to go do it, I don't know if it's showing them as much as like, okay, you know, like we're ready for that too. And so Cincinnati's a good team, you know, and we knew it was going to be a hard fought all the way through, but there's that chip on your shoulder to show you can prove it. And that's what I do like about our guys, that we're not going to ride this roller coaster of up and down when people think we can or we can't. The main thing is what inside those walls and what the locker room thinks.
And that mentality is something it seems like you and Jayden Daniels share. Like, he's out there to prove it, but he knows what he's there to do. Broke a record, highest completion percentage for a rookie quarterback in the NFL. How great is it to be there and watch Jayden go through these milestones and just continue to succeed?
He's always down for anything. The bigger the challenge, usually the bigger the smile. You know, it's like he absolutely wants to go do it. And so he's always down for it. And I love that about him. But he plays the position with smarts. He takes care of the ball. He knows where to put it. He can make plays with his leg and extend them. So it's just awesome to see like him playing this position. But like, if you want a big challenge, that you'll get a big smile as well. Like, he is down for that.
Yes, sir. And we're seeing this offense expand and open and seeing the different things you can do. But I don't think anybody would have expected Jayden's first touchdown would go to an offensive alignment. What went into that decision making and seeing Trent Scott, the big man, get that touchdown?
We've had that in for a few weeks. Yes, so sometimes you get there, but it may not show up in the game. And so when it comes, and we knew Trent would be ready to deliver on that one, because he had talked about, I got my celebration already set. And we said, what? You know, so he was very confident if the moment came that he'd be able to deliver. So I thought, it was really cool. Just you could feel the energy and the team erupt for Trent on that play.
And I mean, you guys on the sideline as well erupted. There's so much energy from you and the coaching staff. Where is all that excitement come from? Is it just from implementing a game plan and it working out, or is it just seeing guys succeed?
I think probably a little bit of both. I think like you probably saw the sideline erupt for Terry some.
Yes.
And I think what I feel for Terry is like he's a pro's pro. And if you want to study somebody, don't study him when the times are going good. You want to study him during the times of adversity.
Yes.
And so for Terry, where a lot of different quarterbacks, things around him may have changed, but he never did. And he's got a standard about him that I really admire. And so I would say for him on that touchdown, the joy was also for him, you know, for what he stands for. For the other guys, like when there's big plays, it's just, you know, teams supporting one another. And so we knew in this game it would have to be all three phases lifting one another up. And that's what a brotherhood does. So that was really, really cool to see.
And going back to Terry, that moment where you guys embraced and hugged on the sideline, everybody saw a huge smile on your face. That's the kind of guy you are, though. That's the kind of coach you are. Why is that important for you to give that emotion and that love to these guys, where it's not just business, it's also a family?
Yeah, I think, you know, we spend so much time together, and the relationships run deep because we want it so badly for them as well. And we know what they put into it. And so sometimes our families may not know, or our friends may not know, but the ones that we're in there with, like, we know how much work he puts in. And so that was probably the expression that I was trying to get across to him, man, like the work that you put in is worth it.
And another guy that's putting in a ton of work and is starting to show, Luke McCaffrey. Somewhat of a breakout game for him. What has it been like watching him grow into this role? Because there's a lot of pressure on him too. He has a big name. What has it been like watching him kind of mature into this offense?
Yeah, and I think for him especially, like, we know the competitor he is. Yeah. And so you're going to see guys continue to improve as they get more experience. Like, this is Luke's third game, that he's been in on. And so you make mistakes, you improve on them, and you have to be willing to go make some of those mistakes early, because that's how you grow and you get better. And he had some in the first couple of games, but the sign of a true competitor is that you don't make them again, and you get another shot and you go dig again. And so seeing that with Luke come through, like, he is tough, and he's always down for it. So he's another guy that's just like a true competitor.
And use the word mistake, so let's look forward to the Arizona Cardinals, because they can force some turnovers. They can cause offenses to make mistakes.
Absolutely.
But your young offense has not made many mistakes. How have you kept the guys locked in and focused like that?
I think it's really like our whole philosophy, that the ball will determine, the game. And so can we knock a few out on defense? Can we control it on offense? And going against a good team like Arizona, you don't want to give them extra possessions. And that was the same thing with Cincinnati with their explosive offense. Can you limit their number of possessions in the game, like making sure you take care of the ball and have the ability to make sure they have to go the long way and on a long field. And so having the discipline to do that is something that we coach, every day, every play, just how we get down.
And Coach, you made the decision to have the guys straight from Cincinnati come out here to Arizona, and we'll be spending the week out here until the game. What goes into that? Is that a team bonding thing? Is that a chemistry thing? What makes you say, you know what, let's spend the week out in Arizona?
Well, I think first thing, it's good just to stay in this pocket together. We had talked about, the Monday night game. We've been back in Virginia early in the morning and then have to leave again on a Friday. We're accustomed to having these trips together. We did a few in training camp, but just focus on our getting better. Is there the chemistry that takes place on that? Absolutely. But by design, it's to get us ready for Sunday. And that's the main thing.
Yes, sir. And then you have guys that are ready, that are just waiting to get on that field. And it showed last week. You were missing some big guys, Cleveland Farrell, Emmanuel Forbes. How did the guys step up in their place for our defense?
That's part of being on a good team. And as you go through the season, whether it's practice squad elevations or guys taking more reps when it comes, they're ready for those moments, and you don't want to miss them. Yeah. And so that's why the practice is so important, the development is so important. So when your opportunity does get called, that you're ready to deliver for your teammates, and that's a really powerful feeling.
And a guy that delivered Monday night, Johnny Newton. He made his impact felt on the game. What did you see from him in practice and leading up that made you say, you know what, you're going to play a big role for us tonight?
I felt in practice this week, two young players stood out to me defensively, he and Baptiste, to where their legs were underneath them. I felt their speed. I felt their quickness. And so now they're ready to take off. And so when you kind of get your legs underneath you, that means you're a little more explosive, you're less thinking, and you're really ready to deliver. And so for both of them, I was really pumped to get their play ramped up and make them have an impact in the game.
And your bet on Stanley Jean-Baptiste's work. Not many coaches put that kind of belief in a 7th round pick so early, but he came out and he had a sack. What about Stanley Jean-Baptiste have you seen that's rare from a 7th round guy that shows you that, you know what, this guy's ready to play now?
He has great length and the ability to change direction for a taller guy. A lot of people don't have that. Oftentimes it's the smaller, shorter guy that has good change of direction, but he can bend, he's athletic. He's got similar traits to Dorrance in some ways, where he can take it up and bend. He's got good football, IQ. He's tough. And so I just will continue to see guys like him and McCaffrey and Johnny Newton and others just continue to make these strides as the season progresses along. The game reps for them are really, really valuable, because that's where they grow.
And you mentioned a guy like Dorrance Armstrong. Him and Thala, you have a relationship with them. You knew these guys. Now they're here with a new look pass rush. How have you felt they fared so far in this defense in these first 3 weeks?
I thought it's one of the areas that we're emphasizing hard to make sure that part can develop. Because as a defense, it's, balance of one another. It's coverage, it's rush, it's coverage. How do those mesh together? So making sure we're always on the same page. But D.A. and Dante, both great experience, great, knowledge of how to do it. And so, like everything, the more turns we get together, the better it'll be.
And the Cardinals have shown the ability to put up a lot of points.
Yes.
How do you plan to contain this offense in a guy like Kyler Murray?
Yeah, they've got real weapons, from the running back spot, who's tough as hell, Wide receiver who they've added to. They got a fantastic tight end and then a quarterback that can extend plays. So they do have the ability to get big plays, to get points. And so that'll be the challenge for us to make sure that we limit those big plays and find ways for our offense, get the ball again, and allow them to, go do some work too.
You got to love a win, right? But there's always things you can learn from and grow from. What did you see from week 3 that you want to implement into week 4, but also grow from in week 4?
Yeah, there's a lot. And I would say what I liked is offensively, we really did a good job with the football, in terms of taking care of it, to making sure we weren't going to give Cincinnati extra possessions on it. I loved the energy on special teams. I thought our guys really ran and hit and created a decided field position edge. Austin Eckler had a long return to start the second half. So those set it off moments on special teams can be the difference and be the key that lights the whole thing off to make sure you can go make big plays. Arizona's got a good special teams group too, good return as well. So that could be one of the battles, the game within the game. Things we'd like to see us improve on, quite honestly, is us defensively finding some ways to knock the ball out, to create a few takeaways. And then offensively, we're happy down the red zone, but let's make sure every time, we're finishing in the end zone.
Yes, sir. And Coach, we're on a win streak right now. Is that true that there's momentum that comes with being in a win streak, being top in the NFC East? Is there momentum coming into this game, or is it just business as usual?
I think there's lessons to learn. The thing that we're not going to do is ride the roller coaster. We're not going to go up. We're not going to go down. The highs and lows, they can both be equally dangerous. And so we just want to make sure nobody here is buying a ticket to the roller coaster. They're fun to be on when it's high, but you don't need the lows either. So stay consistent, do what we do, and go find it's just this week and just this game.
Stay consistent, Coach. You're always consistent. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks.
Now it's time for your Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. This week's Prime Player is rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels. Daniels put up 254 passing yards, 39 rushing yards, and 3 total touchdowns. He has been an exceptional addition to Washington's offense with a 91.3 completion percentage in the Commanders' victory over the Bengals, setting a record for rookies and the NFL. He is also the first player in franchise history to attempt 20 passes and have a completion percentage of over 90. Daniels was named NFC Offensive Player of the Week for his Week 3 matchup against the Bengals, the first since running back Adrian Peterson in 2018. Coming up, Logan heads to the film room to recap Washington's exciting Week 3 win and the key plays made by rookie quarterback JD5. And afterwards, the guys will share their must-watch matchups for a victory over the Cardinals. The Game Plan is presented by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. Welcome back into the Game Plan. It's time to go inside the film room, brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly.
All right, let's take a look at this film from the Cincinnati game to see what they can transfer forward to this Arizona game. One of the things I thought they did a great job of is in the red zone, coming away with points. Let's take a look at this Austin Eckler touchdown here. They're going to run a trap, kind of an inverted trap here. So they're going to pull here. Great job. Great job. Watch our guy Cosme. Watch his hat placement. Right now, this play could be dead. Watch him work his hips across, get that guy sealed off. Great job by Allegretti here on the kick out also. Creating this window, you get this nice seam here. Awesome. Our guy Coleman working to the second level, and the 2 tight ends on the outside, watch them finish. So in the red zone, they're able to get touchdowns, awesome on first down, but guys are finishing. They're grinding, they're working to the ball. Watch Ben Siddett running his guy down the field. We're getting opportunities for guys to score touchdowns, and all starts up front. Great play design, great execution. That's how we continue this red zone momentum we had against the Cincinnati Bengals. Here, We got to score touchdowns, right? How do we do it? We got to get a little creative sometimes. We get in our goal line personnel. We got 1, 2, 3 tight ends, and then we got another guy over here. Who's that? That's an extra offensive lineman. That's our guy, Scott. They're in man coverage. If you see this right here, he's manned up right there, manned up right there. I used to score touchdowns on this play. You just sell the block, right? Sell the block. He's got to fit this gap as a run defender. This is really challenging. Great job by Scott getting in there. Awesome ball fake in the backfield. We're pulling the guard to the front side. Everyone's going over here. Watch on the snap of the ball. Watch all the defenders, how they get caught up. They just kind of teleport, eyes here, eyes here, eyes here. And then our guy Scott can sneak out the backside. Great ball fake. Good job, Jayden. Way to elevate over that throw, because you know this guy's going to be unblocked. And obviously our guy Scott has to catch the football. He's got a lot of tape on his hands. That's going to be tough. Gets that sucker done. And I think A+ on the celebration here with this dance. I didn't know he had it in him. So that's one way, right? Another thing is we got to get explosive plays in the offense. And Terry obviously had an explosive game. Look at this. First, it starts with the protections. We bring guys in. We're in max pro. But make sure our offensive linemen aren't in one-on-ones. Great job by Cliff with the play design. We're giving chip help, making it easy. This is one of the best pass rushers in football. Let's get multiple hands on him. This is quarters coverage in the back end. 1, 2. This should be dead. Terry's running a vertical, but you got to point out the good things Terry's doing here. Watch how he kind of spray releases this, pushes out on the angle. The DB opens up his hips ever so slightly. You see it right there? His hips are now open to the sideline, and Terry can now take this vertical. He's also, with that spray release, worked away from this safety to give himself some room, and then it's just all gas, no brakes. Get down the field past this guy, and great job by Jayden Daniels on the throw. Just drop it in the bucket. Doesn't get much better than that, and Terry completing the catch. It's great to see these two guys finally get on the same page at this point in the season. So that being said, there's other explosive plays. 4th down, there's another opportunity to be awesome in terms of managing and extending drives. We got 4 receiver overload here. They're going to push the coverage to that 4 receiver overload. The safety's eyes are here to Zach. Great job by Zach Ertz understanding the coverage contour. I'm going to take this nice and flat through here, and Jayden trusting the vet, protecting the throw, getting it complete. And again, this is what takes a good team from being great. Explosive plays, red zone efficiency, scoring in the red zone, and converting on 4th down. Awesome job in terms of play. And then maybe the best play of the day is this touchdown to Terry. We get a one-on-one isolation down here on the bottom. They're bringing all out. It's everybody's up on the line of scrimmage. They're bringing pressure. So what do we got to do? We got to protect, we got to take a hit, and we got to deliver a football. So let's talk about the protection first. Zach Ertz up here, chipping on our guy Hendricks. And then we got McNichols. Man, this is maybe one of the best blitz pickups you'll see. We're not going to stand back. We're not going to wait. We're going to drive ourselves up in the line of scrimmage. We're going to meet the blitzer. We're going to pick him up, and we're going to slam him on the ground, man. That's an excellent job. And now we know, Jayden Daniels understands, everybody else is blitzing. This is my guy. I have to account for him from a rush standpoint. I'm going to lose a little bit of ground. And, I mean, this ball, look how high this ball gets. He's releasing this football. Watch this. Right as he's getting hit, he's releasing the ball. Terry does not look open. The trajectory of this football is what makes this go. The arc of it, like the way he gets this thing up nice and high, it allows Terry to adjust to it. I cannot overstate how impressive this throw is. The time he puts on this ball, Terry adjusts. The catch is obviously spectacular, but to anticipate this with this kind of pressure in this moment of the game, it does not get better than this. Hopefully they can continue to be successful in the red zone and excellent on 3rd down. Awesome situational football, and that's your breakdown.
Always great to hear what Logan has to say in the film room. Gear up for game day with our Commanders coverage. At 3 p.m., B. Mitch Santana and I share in-depth analysis on the Commanders and a live look into warm-ups. And immediately after the game, we'll be back live to share our reactions to the game as well as coach and player press conferences. You won't want to miss all of the great analysis and live looks on Facebook, X, and the Commanders YouTube. And stick around, because Logan and the crew will be right back to give you our must-watch matchups in Arizona. That's on The Game Plan. Welcome back into The Game Plan. It's time for a competitive edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now here's a look at the upcoming competition for the Commanders. Washington is on the road for their Week 4 matchup against the 1-2 Arizona Cardinals. The Commanders are coming off a successful week against the Bengals, where they won 38-33 and put up the most points in a game since Week 12 of the 2020 season. Washington is averaging 206 passing yards per game and 153 rushing yards per game, and is the only team in the NFL that hasn't had a turnover this season. And with Kyler Murray at the helm in Arizona, the Cardinals are looking for redemption after their Week 3 loss to the Detroit Lions. Commanders family, I have great news for you. We have Commanders content going out every day this week. We have podcasts, shows, press conferences, and so much more. Be sure to subscribe to the Commanders YouTube page and turn on the bell so that you get notified every time we post. And don't forget to buy your tickets to see head coach Dan Quinn and your Commanders play at home for their Week 5 matchup against the Cleveland Browns on October 6th at 1 p.m. You can find them at commanders.com. Now, it's time for your ticket to a win, presented by SeatGeek, your ticket to great Commanders seats.
All right, this is Ticket to a Win, and these are your must-watch matchups. Let's start with our first one, guys, and it is Joe Witt Jr. versus Marvin Harrison, and really the entire Cardinals offense, right? Because they present a whole bunch of different challenges. What do we think?
I think at the end of the day, you have to keep Kyler bottled up. You have to keep him in the pocket. And if you're going to beat us, Kyler Murray, you're going to do it from inside of the pocket. And that's where the defensive line come up. Get your hands in the air.
Yeah, because he's not very tall, right? He's not very tall.
I just want to see us finally play coverage over somebody who I feel like can beat us. You know what I mean? One of the things about you can't be scared of no one. You know what I mean? And this was a young guy. He has to, earn his keep. But I feel like he's a guy that's capable of,
breaking the game.
If he gets man to man, they're gonna go after him. So I want to see I want to see us play coverage more towards him, and then make those other guys beat us. Because I feel like every week when we get a guy like that with this potential, we seem to let him go out there and do his thing.
Yeah, I definitely think he's a good football player, but a young player. I think we can definitely be a little bit more aggressive with him. All right, so we got our linebackers versus James Conner, who's actually a very effective running back.
He is.
How do we slow him down?
Well, first of all, when he runs, they win. All right, so at the end of the day, you have to stop that ground game. Force Kyler Murray to be their ground game on erratic plays. But myself, if I'm Coach Witt, I want to introduce Frankie Louvu to James Conner like time after time after time. And not no pass blitzing, run blitzing. I think if you run blitz early, they'll have to throw late.
I think you got to bottle these guys up. I think these dogs here, these two dogs, got to go hunt. They got to go eat. They got to go get after this guy. I think one of the things that they do special is run the ball well. We've seen that week 1. We've seen that week 2. We've seen this week 3. So now it's week 4. They're going to take the same recipe and try to do the same thing. They got to go out there and not only, set the tone, but they have to be active all day because they're going to try to run the ball.
Yeah, 100%. And that offense goes as he goes, so if they can slow him down, that's going to really help us out. And then this is maybe the most important one. It's the quarterback versus Jonathan Gannon. This guy is throwing everything but the kitchen sink at you, and how does this guy handle it? That, to me, a huge matchup.
Don't let them play the mind games. The mind games are going to come. They're going to show different coverage. They're going to show different looks and try to mess him up because he's a young guy. Play the game that he knows best. I think one of the things that he can do is allow Cliff to go out there and do all that against him. Cliff is going to put him in situations where, you don't have to worry about nothing. Just do as I say. And when you see the guy open, take advantage of it. So that's all I say. Don't let him get into your head. Let Cliff handle them.
Well, think about it. This guy's a master Jedi. He's going to play Jedi mind tricks with a youngster right there. He's going to try to show him everything but the kitchen sink. Jayden, calm down, process things, and follow through.
So guys, thanks so much for hanging out. That does it for the game plan. Enjoy the game.